welcome back. My name is LastKnownMeal and today we have a huge CD Projekt /Cyberpunk 2077 news video. In the recent investors call that happens every year because, well, CD Projekt is a publicly traded company, so they have to do these meetings to actually say to their investors and to other parties what they did in the past year and what are their plans for the future. But before we get into that, we finally got a new lore information about the 6th Gang Street. We have been wondering about them for so long, but this is who they are. Founded by the veterans of the 4th Corporate War, tired of the helplessness of the NCPD, the 6th Street was meant to serve and protect the community of Vista del Rey. Today, their interpretation of the law and bringing justice to the city is questionable and self-serving. So this looks like another organization turned into a gang over time. They started with a good goal, but as it always is, greed and self-interest crept its way in. Now, to go back to the meeting itself, I went through the transcript and extracted all the relevant information for you, but there is a link for a full audio call and text version. So first off, work from home. A lot of people assume that this will hurt the development of Cyberpunk 2077, but it didn't. Cyberpunk development was already in the endgame stage, and since they delayed the game regardless of the recent events, they also got ready for the work from home early. And as Adam Kicinski said in this call, we started an intensive preparation to be able to work from our homes in the first half of March. We multiplied the connection bandwidth of the office, laid down new cables, bought new hardware and software, enabling us to effectively connect all team members to our internal servers. And later on he says, therefore, our plans haven't changed, and we are vigorously continuing preparations for Cyberpunk September launch. So don't worry, Cyberpunk is coming in September, there are no delays. Next up, we're going to go quickly over Gwent. Basically, half of the revenue from its release until the end of the year was from iOS, so we can assume that iOS and Android are going to be the #1 way to earn money for CD Projekt from Gwent Mobile, and it seems it's going great. It will be interesting to see what is bigger, iOS or Android sales next year. Also regarding GOG, their platform had a 154 million zloty of sales in the past year, which is better than the previous one. So it's great that GOG is rising because a lot of people were worried about it last year because, you know, GOG wasn't really there, especially platform-wise, and now that they have GOG Galaxy 2, I guess the sales are rising, which is great. Then we go to the sales and what was the revenue of CD Projekt Group. Well, in the past year it exceeded 521 million zloty, which is a lot of money, and most of that came from sales, actually 304 million zloty. Even their 2019 sales grew by 44% compared to the one in 2018, which makes sense because, well, pre-orders for Cyberpunk are skyrocketing and The Witcher 3 had that insane revival. So after all calculations are done, their net profit for 2019 was 175 million zloty. Now the Cyberpunk 2077 information, as we already know, the game has been rated by most of the rating agencies in the world, and this is what Mikhail Novakovsky, another CDPR member on the call, talked about. They're having problems with Japan closing for a month, which is also like, it means that all of their rating agencies are closed, but it won't be a problem because they got most of the ratings from major countries. The problem is a bit, again, with the Japanese localization because it's closed. But even with that, they said they will get it done in the worst case scenario as a patch when September comes. Then they were asked about the marketing strategy now that E3 and basically most public events are cancelled. It seems they have been planning that since the second half of February, so they did take into account that E3 could be cancelled besides, you know, other events that caused it. And that's the thing with E3. E3 wouldn't survive 2020 with or without this thing that it has been happening around the world. So most of the stuff will be digital. They have plans from June until September to ramp up the marketing strategy for the game, as it's normal since the release date is getting closer. So obviously some things have to be adjusted into the marketing mix, and if you have been wondering what marketing mix is, it's basically people, product, price, promotion, place, process, and physical evidence. That's a marketing mix, and it basically represents the full marketing schedule and, you know, plans they have for a product or service or whatever. Now, what about Spokko? the company they acquired? Well, as we found out, they have a playable online mobile game. So that's cool. They are still not ready to share more info about it. We just know it is going to be purely mobile and it is going to be focused on that online element, so it could have some of those PvP elements, but we still don't know what that game is. And it's closely tied to one of the things that, CDPR is working on, or it might be something that Spokko was working on before. We don't know about it, but we are going to find out soon. Is this going to be released before Cyberpunk 2077? I am not sure. They want to polish the game as much as they can before they release it, so basically their policy is the same with mobile games as it is with, their normal products. Until it's ready, they won't release it. But what do you think this game is going to be? Tell me down below. Next up are definitely pre-orders. They were asked about the numbers of the Cyberpunk 2077 pre-orders. Sadly, they couldn't share them, but they said they are extremely happy with the pre-orders of the game. And then they were asked about certain ventures they went in as a company, which basically means the company is investing into something, they're acquiring something, they're pumping more money into, let's say, their R&D department, whatever. But currently, they spent in 2019 around 175 million zloty, which is a lot of money. But still, they said they're actually investing a lot and they will reveal everything they have been working on until now after Cyberpunk 2077 is released, which includes the DLCs, the expansions, it includes the multiplayer and various other things they have been working on. But right now, Cyberpunk is the only focus. And for the end, again to stress that the game is ready for September. They're polishing, fixing bugs and other smaller and bigger activities the game will have. Also, they have about 130 to 150 people just QA testing the game. And yes, QA is both internal and external because they did hire a QA company to help them. And that's it, we got some nice information regarding Cyberpunk 2077 and the future plans of CD Projekt. Now we just have to wait for the marketing strategy to intensify, which is already happening with the gang lore reveals and more is coming. So, this is LKM signing out, thank you so much for watching this video, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for more CDPR news and join our growing community on Twitter and Discord. Stay classy everyone and bye bye.